I'd like to bring in Anand Patel. He's gotten some more information as we continue to beam out the latest live from here. Anand, till about an hour ago, the beating retreat was on schedule. What is it that has gone down? What has happened?
So, what we can make out is that, you know, the word must have been communicated to the BSF officials quite late, because the crowds were already allowed in till half an hour ago. We saw the crowds walking inside. There are hundreds of people who are already inside, and now they've been told to come out. So perhaps now is the time when the handing over of Wing Commander Abhinandan is going to take place. And certainly, since India had already told the Pakistani side that the handing over cannot happen alongside the beating retreat.
Right.
So India,
and that is what Pakistan had wanted. Pakistan wanted to, you know, and probably because, Shiv, of the entire propaganda machinery of Pakistan to keep it at play, putting themselves as this larger-than-life figure who's made this massive peace gesture.
Yeah.
India didn't want that, but Anand, continue.
Absolutely, yes, because, you know, India didn't want it to have this Pakistani getting an opportunity to create a spectacle out of this handing out ceremony, and the Pakistani propaganda machinery playing it out in their media. So India had already told Pakistan that the handing over cannot take place alongside the beating retreat, and perhaps that's why these people who had come in here in hundreds of numbers, they are being turned back now. And since the Air Force authorities are already inside at the Attari complex, we expect the handing over to take place any moment now.
So, Shiv, the top 3 points that we can give you right now from the Attari-Wagah border. Point number 1, beating the retreat, the visual spectacle that happens every day here at 4 p.m. stands cancelled. A lot of people very disappointed. I'll ask my camera person to actually show you, if Ravikant can show you people filing out. A lot of them have come from, I was speaking to people, some of them have even come from down south where Wing Commander Abhinandan comes from. So there's a wave of disappointment that we can see. People have, though, started lining up the road. They're hoping to catch a glimpse of him when he's taken from here by a road convoy. So disappointment, yes, that's point number 1. Point number 2, he has been bought a confirmation that has been given to us by the BSF that from Islamabad, the Wing Commander has been bought to Lahore. Lahore, just about 23 kilometers from here. So in the next 1 hour, we should be hoping for an exchange that will take place, Shiv.
Okay, very interesting. I just want to get an expert view from Lieutenant General Vinod Bhatia, former Director General Military Operations. Are you surprised, General Bhatia, that the beating retreat ceremony that takes place has been cancelled for the day? Is that unusual or is that okay? Because, you know, emotions are running high and people are being removed from that place because it has to be secured. The area has to be secured, isn't it?
It's a very considered decision. Yeah. That's how it should be. It's a very emotive issue. There's a lot of energy in the crowd out there. But we have to understand that if Wing Commander Abhinandan was to hand it over during beating retreat ceremony, then the two sides, the
complications.
Very complications there. And the security has to be maintained. There are 30,000-40,000 people out there. And anything can go wrong. You don't want things to go wrong as yet. Because, you know, we hero worship him. It's not that. But then it has to be done in a military manner, because it's a handing taking over, proper handing taking over has to be done. We've got to ensure that he is safe, he is sound, he is medically fit, and there's certain formalities to be done out there which need to be done properly. So, and we can't make a drama out of it. And when he comes to our side, well, our people are always there to welcome him. It's not so. But beating retreat at this point of time could have flared up into anything. I think it's a very good decision. And Pakistan wanted to use that platform to further its agendas. Let's also look at that. Because Pakistan who said that we'll hand him over during, as per the reports coming in, during beating retreat ceremony. So he wanted to use that platform to further an agenda which is always there to
increase their own moral currency, etc.
And show the world, look, we are handing over, we are looking for peace, you are not. But if he is looking for peace, then he should hand over
Maulana Masood Azhar. I mean, let's not take our eye off the ball.
And more importantly, he should deconstruct the terrorist infrastructure which is there. That is something which is our long-term aim. What we would like him to do is to make sure the proxy war does not take place on his soil.
Absolutely.
So that's our, I hope it happens
and we can't take our eye off that strategic objective. As far as terror is concerned, we can say no to war, but we can't, ever mistake being against war and being against terror as being the same thing. The fact is, we don't need to go to war, but we need to be against terror, and terror needs to be dismantled by Pakistan. Air Marshal Vinod Bhatia is also with us, and he's been the Western Air Commander of the Indian Air Force, the formation that was involved in commanding the things that have happened over the last few days along the line of control. Air Marshal Bhatia, when when this pilot comes back today, just for the benefit of our viewers, what are the procedures that will be gone through? There'll be a debrief, I'm sure. There are intelligence procedures because he's coming back from Pakistan. Just break it down for us. What all will happen once he crosses over?
Well, to put it very briefly, he comes back to a hero's welcome. He is taken to Amritsar, and there is an Air Force aircraft waiting for him, and he'll be taken to Delhi.
Yeah.
And the first thing first, I think he'll undergo a thorough medical examination, which is to ensure that everything is all right.
Yeah.
And after that, he will go through a series of debriefings, which will also include everything. That will include the mission itself.
Yeah.
It will include the entire events which took place there, as also the fact that he came down in POK.
Yes.
And what happened to him thereafter. So there'll be very, very thorough briefing, both on the operation side as well as on the intelligence side.
Okay.
And once he is declared medically fit, then everything goes back to normal.
Everything goes back to normal.
And he rejoins his unit. And after that is business.
And hopefully get some time with his family as well, because his parents are also there.
Yes, that is part of the game. But I'm sure that is not much of a much. That will happen automatically.
Absolutely. And so there was video footage of his parents on a flight to Amritsar earlier. We on India Today are not putting out those pictures because, let the pilot come back home, let things sober down a little bit, and then we can, cover all those emotional aspects of it. Rajiv Dogra, former diplomat, also with us. We'll be going to him in just a moment from now. But I want to bring you, one of the aspects of this story that has really captured the imagination of aviation experts, security watchers the world over. Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthamanam, who has spent 2 days in Pakistani custody and will be handed over in just a short while from now, after that dramatic aerial confrontation of the line of control on Wednesday, is now the talk of the aviation world for a feat that is still, in many ways, really sinking in. In a scene straight out of a Cold War novel, perhaps. Wing Commander Abhinandan has stunned and captured the imagination of international security watchers across the world after the MiG-21 he was flying has been claimed to have scored the first kill of a US-built F-16 Falcon. An unprecedented aviation feat, being seen as a huge achievement given that F-16s are far more advanced than even India's upgraded MiG-21 Bisons. Well, Abhinandan's interception and shooting down of a Pakistani F-16, which the Indian side has claimed to be an F-16, is an unprecedented feat. The F-16 was part of a larger pack of aircraft and is hugely better equipped with weapons and sensors for a fight of this kind. In fact, Abhinandan is understood to have managed to score the kill just moments before his own jet was hit by an AMRAAM missile that brought him down inside Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. But the very feat of a MiG-21 bringing down an F-16 has the world talking. It's a buzz. There is no defense or aviation story, perhaps, of greater significance right now than this one. Journalists, aviation watchers around the world are talking about it. Here's a quick look at what experts have been saying. Let's just play out for you some of those sound bites and opinions that we've been getting from many of these things. Classic aerial action of great significance. This is aviation history. People are gushing about this. They say that if this is true, if this is confirmed that it was an F-16, then this is history, and it is proof that it's not always the machine, it's also the pilot that is of great significance. I also want to introduce Angad Singh. He's one of India's foremost aviation watchers. He's an aviation photographer. He's traveled around the world and is obsessed with aircraft. I personally don't know anyone more tuned in with aircraft than Angad is. Angad, welcome.
Thanks, Shiv.
Your first thoughts, Angad, when you heard about the MiG-21 scoring an F-16 kill?
So I'm not going to lie, my first thought was a bit of excitement. Because as you said, this is a historic aerial engagement.
Yeah.
And for the so-called outdated jet to come up on top, that's a big deal no matter how you look at it.
Considering that everyone is saying that this is an old jet, the MiG-21 is a jet that has a not a very favorable reputation in India's public imagination. It's been called a flying coffin. Rang De Basanti did a lot to make it an even more notorious platform. Explain that for us. Is the MiG-21 truly a far inferior jet than the F-16? In which case, does this prove that it is Abhinandan's own flying skills that kicked in for this kind of engagement?
So as with most of these things, it's a bit of both. The MiG-21 as an aerodynamic platform is notoriously unforgiving of bad airmanship, of mistakes, of distractions in the air. At the same time, the environment for which it was designed and the operational imperatives that led to its design were far different to what was required of it in service with the Indian Air Force.
Okay.
So keeping it in the air, keeping it safe in our operational environment was always more difficult than it would have been, say, operating in Russia, where it was originally built. With that said, the Bison variant of the MiG-21 is by far and away the most capable variant in existence today. A competent Bison pilot that is aware of his own jet's strengths and limitations, as well as his adversaries' strengths and limitations, would have no problem in moving into an advantageous position in an aerial engagement.
Okay, very, very interesting. We're going to come right back to this in just a bit, because I want to keep a spotlight on this big story about how a MiG-21 brought down an F-6. Preeti has some information for us from Wagah. Preeti, over to you.
Yes, sir.
What exactly you want to know, Dasso ji?
सर कैंसिल क्यों हुई है रिट्रीट ये बता दीजिए सर कैंसिल क्यों हुई है ये बता दीजिए क्या कारण रहे
That is a decision of the border security force जी जो ये यहाँ पे beating of the retreat ceremony होती है, parade होती है. That parade is not being held today. बाकी wing commander Abhinandan is coming back from this route.
What time?
And exact.
Sir, what time?
Okay.
At what time, sir?
टाइम हाले क्लियर नहीं है बट
Wing commander Abhinandan is coming back to India from this route today. It will take a few hours more. You will have to wait for that, but he's on his way. And as far as the parade of the retreat ceremony of the border security force is concerned, that will not be held today.
क्या यही कारण है कि वो आ रहे हैं इसलिए
देखिए आज हमारे लिए सबके लिए देश में ये ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है कि हमारे विंग कमांडर अभिनंदन देश में वापस आ जाएं. दिस इज़ आवर फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी टुडे. और द बॉर्डर सिक्योरिटी फोर्स उसको मद्देनज़र रखते हुए, क्योंकि उनके टाइमिंग का कुछ क्लियर नहीं हो रहा.
लोग इसीलिए ज़्यादा आ रहे थे कि उनको देखना चाहते थे थोड़ा सा.
नहीं, वो ठीक है जी, लोगों का सेंटिमेंट्स वी रिस्पेक्ट, बट उनका देश वापस आना आज बाकी सारे सेंटिमेंट से ऊपर है हमारे लिए, सारे देशवासियों के लिए.
तो कब तक आने की उम्मीद है सर? कुछ
अभी कुछ घंटे लगेंगे जी, रास्ते में हैं, चले हुए हैं.
कुछ घंटे लगेंगे अभी.
Sir, has he already been handed to the Indian High Commissioner?
No, it's not like that. It is because there's a standard protocol. The International Red Cross is also involved. So all those procedures are being followed.
तो इनको रिसीव आप करेंगे या कोई और?
नहीं जी, इंडियन एयर फोर्स करेगी. He is a serving officer of the Indian Air Force. So the senior team of the Indian Air Force from the air headquarters is on the way. तो वो आके यहाँ
मैम ये एयरफोर्स पे डिपेंड करता है. मैम ये एयरफोर्स पे डिपेंड करता है.
I can't hear you जी.
Any visuals?
Yes.
Would we be able to see him passing through this particular?
I have my doubts on that.
मैम अभी पता चलेगा.
Thank you sir. Thank you.
I have my doubts on that.
Thank you sir. Thank you.
Shiv, if you can hear me, it's quite interesting. We might not even get a glimpse of... Shiv, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Preeti. Go ahead.
Shiv, it seems we might not even get a picture or a glimpse of Wing Commander Abhinandan. If you can read into what the Deputy Commissioner, we just heard the Deputy Commissioner Amritsar. You know, there's something going on which is rather interesting, because 2 hours ago he came in right here standing and he said we're going to have the beating of retreat. A lot of people extremely happy to witness Wing Commander Abhinandan coming in, and you know, he's still addressing. He's still talking to the media, but 2 very big points coming in, because the Deputy Commissioner 2 hours ago had said that people are lining up, they're extremely excited to get a glimpse of Wing Commander Abhinandan. And right now I just asked him, why was the beating retreat cancelled? He said because Wing Commander is more important. When we asked him whether visuals of the Wing Commander coming in will they be released, he says, I highly doubt it. So a lot to read in. Can I bring in Anand? I'd like to bring in Anand. Anand, strange kind of communication going on since the morning. Why is it?
Because you see the manner in which this entire handing over is taking place, you know, it's like a ball game between India and Pakistan. The Pakistan was trying to have the beating retreat ceremony and coincide with the handing over ceremony. But since India objected to it, India tried to make it possible that the handing over takes place in a solemn manner, the manner in which, you know, a prisoner of
The
war
Red Cross is involved.
Yes,
in
yes.
all that.
It's a standard protocol. You see, as per the Geneva Convention, the International Red Cross, the POW is handed over to the International Red Cross representatives, and then he's handed over to the country to which he belongs. So that standard procedure is being followed, and that's why it's taking a bit of time. And India has made sure that this doesn't turn out to be a big spectacle as the Pakistani propaganda machinery would have wanted it to be.
But it's interesting, Shiv, you know, because till 2 hours, there were people standing with placards of Wing Commander Abhinandan. And now India has decided, because Red Cross is involved, there's a protocol, not a single picture. He said highly doubtful. That means that we will not get any pictures of Wing Commander Abhinandan, or at least that's what it points to. It also, you know, let's just go back, because the government has taken down every possible video of Wing Commander Abhinandan that has been floating about on YouTube as well, asking YouTube to take it down. So are we following protocol outrightly and not allowing even a visual of somebody who's been taken, you know, who's been captured? Or was it a decision taken in the last 2 hours? Because the last 2 hours, it was a very different story here.
Very, you know, interesting.
Back to the studio.
Preeti, stay with us. I just want to bring in General Bhatia in on this again. General Bhatia, explain this for us. You know, at one level as a journalist, I'm going to be disappointed, you know, and the journalists there and the people, public there are going to say, we're not going to have a chance to see this guy when he comes back. He's a public hero right now. On the other hand, explain for us the sensitivities and the issues of consideration that could have led to a decision like this, that, you know, let's play this very, very carefully. We don't want to make it a public spectacle.
If you look at the Attari Wagah border and beating retreat ceremony, day on and day on, every evening, you have a very frenzied crowd out there on both sides. And you know, and rightly so. It's very emotive. When I look at the Indian flag, I feel very proud of it. And that's how it should be. But the fact is, today is a very the atmosphere out there is very energetic, very emotive, very electrifying. And things can actually go wrong out there, and you don't want things to go wrong. That is my first part. You cannot afford to, you know, it's the international community is watching us, and it could be incited from either side actually. It could be incited on its own, or it will be incited from the Pakistani side also. Let me also say that. No, you have to consider that things could be very, very wrong out there, and it is best avoidable.
So
such a situation is best avoidable.
If a decision can be taken to keep things safe, it's better to take that.
After all, yes, I think people out there will be very disappointed. The hero is getting back, and going back to the hero, can I take 30 seconds?
Please.
You know, when you spoke about the skills of Abhinandan, I would like to go a little beyond that. What is beyond that? You know, he had a task to perform. It is not the skills alone. Skills definitely, yes, but it is the attitude, the never say die attitude which he had. You know, which symbolizes not only him, which is symbolizes all our leaders who are on the ground, and they've been doing the never say die attitude. And at the cost of repetition, let me say, if I was in this place today, I'm sitting out in the studio, I put his job as what is going on in the mind in the 90 seconds. For him, failure is not an option. Okay, he cannot fail the nation. There is a package of Pakistani Air Force fighters which are trying to include into our airspace. So for him, failure is not an option. And secondly, knowing the capability of the two machines, for him success is not a probability. Okay,
but he still went ahead.
But he still went ahead, and he proved everything wrong.
And actually did it.
And he proved everything
That's
wrong.
the story, really.
And you know, we talk of how did he go across. I've been the GOC in the Nowshera Rajori sector. Let me tell you, you know, westerlies are there. Even if you open your parachute, the parachute will take you across the hills.
Absolutely.
So hats off to him. And it's a good decision taken on that.
Absolutely. You know, this is something that we're going to meditate on very, very closely on this. I want to thank all of our guests for the moment. We're going to reconvene at 3 p.m. as we continue our broadcast.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.